Look, I opened this jar of rotten baby food, and well, a butterfly came out.
Again, it's so broad, isn't it? Because we don't all fit into the same bracket. So I think it depends who's died. I think it depends what sort of
Socrates.
jokes it's saying. Well, I'm assuming his loved ones wouldn't find it very amusing at
He
all.
had none. He had no love. He was a, yeah, he had no loved ones.
Oh,
Welcome to the Comedians and Elevators podcast. I've got my guest, Lisa Dade. Lisa, say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
so hi, I'm Lisa Dade. I live on the south coast of England in Dorset, and I'm spinning lots of plates at the moment. So I am an actor, a voiceover artist, a nurse, and I've got my own aesthetics business as well.
Your own what kind of business?
Aesthetics,
So that
Botox. I don't know if I can
D,
say that. Yeah,
you said
aesthetics
D.
improvements.
Ah, okay. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, you ready to get started, Lisa?
Yes, I am.
All right. Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like when at the beginning of these conversations I ask you to subscribe. None of us like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like it being in here. But it's frustrating. You know what else is frustrating? It's also frustrating when I look in the back end of the YouTube channel and I see that 56% of you that watch frequently haven't yet subscribed. And I know this because I see it in the comments section. You say things like, I didn't know I didn't subscribe. And that's actually what fuels the show. Basically, it's like you're making a donation to the show. So that's why I ask all the time, because it enables us to build and build and build. And we're going for the long term here. Hit the subscribe button and we'll continue to build this show for you. That's my promise. Thank you to all you guys that do subscribe. It means the world to me. So the whole point of the podcast is to compare and contrast the comic versus the comedian. So I define the comic as any person telling funny jokes versus the comedian who's a funny person telling any jokes. So Lisa, would you agree that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
Uh, Maybe, I think. With children, I think children can be comedians without really knowing that they are, and they don't have to tell a joke. And I think if they get lots of attention, I think they learn that that attention's good. So yeah, no, not necessarily, maybe.
Okay. So potentially you forget as a child that you're a comedian. And so now you're an adult. It's like starting over, right? So at that point, as an adult, would you say that you start as a comic and evolve into a comedian?
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah,
Because you got to, in the end, become like a child, but you had to start as
exactly.
an adult.
Yeah, before society ruined us when
That's
we were
right. So
free.
got to undo the clock, roll back in time. All right. So you ready for the first question, Lisa?
Yes, I am.
So it's about the role of persona in comedy. So how much of the comedian's voice is a character versus their real self?
I mean, I think in everyone, I don't think you can ever be anybody else but yourself. I think you can have multiple personalities, and I think you can choose which your main one to follow. So I think that comedians there has to be part of them in their act, but they can have a persona. And I think it's like maybe escapism. It's like giving them permission, like this isn't really me. I'm telling the jokes as this part. But
Okay.
yeah, ultimately, I think yeah, it's got to be
Is
part of
that the
you.
comic or the comedian that's doing that?
Probably more the comedian. I mean, a comic could probably just get a book and read jokes out of a book, couldn't they?
We're- it sounds like you're not giving the comic a lot of credit here.
Yeah, unless obviously they make the jokes up themselves.
Well, okay. So a lot of people would say that the writers are comics, not comedians, because they're not performing. So, they're writing the jokes. So do they get credit for
Yeah,
that?
but it's got to come from somewhere, hasn't it? And if it's coming from your mind and or your feelings or your time on this planet, then it's got to be coming from part of you. it's your experience, isn't it? So yeah, I think that even in the writers, the performers, even if they get an insight, it's still coming through them. So yeah, no, I do believe that yeah, it's part of you when you're a comedian or a comic.
Okay, so then how much does authenticity matter, or is illusion part of the magic?
Well, for me, authenticity is the key. I think if you don't believe in yourself and you're not giving a believable performance, then the audience are going to lose interest quite quickly. I think the audience, they don't necessarily drawn to somebody who's particularly funny, but you're drawn to that believability. And if you're watching someone and they're really believing in themselves, I think that just automatically draws you in.
Okay. All right. So how about punching up versus punching down? So where do comics versus comedians subscribe to this? And let me put it in some historical context. Did a jealous medieval prince become the first comedian by killing the court jester?
So punching up, I mean, again, I suppose it depends on your audience, because there's lots of comedians' comments that will be punching up or punching down or doing a bit of both, and it depends. So, yeah, it depends on your audience because some will be quite offended by punching down, others won't. And I think the thing is, the words, it's just a story, isn't it? The words that we talk, they're not real. So if you're talking about a joke about a jester being murdered, it's not real, so there can be a funny element to it. But if you actually brought the jester on the stage and killed him, obviously the comedy goes because it's real. So I think, yeah, I think you can punch down and it still be funny because they're just words, and it depends on your audience. Some people like that, others don't.
So if the jester were telling a joke about another jester getting killed by the prince, that would be funny and that
Well,
would
not when
potentially
you say it
work.
like that.
I'm not
But
when I
if
say
it,
like,
but it could be. It
right.
depends who's saying it and how they're saying it and what the
Well,
context
for
is.
sure. I mean, I think that would be the ultimate. Like you're standing there in front of the king and you're telling this sounds like you're putting together an assassination plot right in front of him, but you're not actually doing the assassination.
But if you're talking about it and you've created a story and a joke about it, it's not actually real. You're creating a story for, you know, do you see? But
So,
if it was actually real and it was real time and the person was getting killed and you're talking about it and it's there, then there's not much humor to that.
I,
See what I mean?
I mean, a lot of people find Socrates' suicide humorous in some respect because,
Because I
I
mean, it's down
mean,
to the audience. Everybody has a different sense of humor, don't they? So
they
what
do.
I
It's very
might
dark.
find funny, somebody else might find completely offensive. So yeah,
So, what side? I mean, we're talking about it. So, what side of offense would that be on if Socrates killed himself?
oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Bit of it.
All right, we'll move on. So, is constructive criticizing of dead people considered punching down? Am I punching down on Socrates?
Again, it's so broad, isn't it? Because we don't all fit into the same bracket. So I think it depends who's died. I think it depends what sort of
Socrates.
jokes that's saying. Well, I'm assuming his loved ones wouldn't find it very amusing at
He
all.
had none. He had no love. He was yeah, he had no loved ones.
Oh,
It is sad. All
so
right. Well,
there's the humor.
it is. I think so. All right. So is the audience agreement with the comedian a form of permission or alignment?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that?
Is the audience's agreement with the comedian a form of permission or alignment?
I don't know if I understand. Are the audience giving
Do
permission?
you think the audience agrees with the comedian when they're on stage?
Well, no, no. Well, I mean, again, it's they might, but yeah, I don't think that you could ever go to one performance and go, yeah, absolutely 100%, agreed with him the whole way through. I mean, even some like say, like a comedian I really love is Ricky Gervais. I mean, he makes me
Hmm.
laugh out loud. I mean, he goes below the belt a lot. And obviously you cringe, but you laugh as well because you know that he's saying it in a joking manner. He's not saying it with intention, a lot of his
Well, that's
stuff.
arguably so. When do you cringe, before or after the punchline?
Do you? Well, I probably don't. You just sort of well, you're laughing, aren't you? But then you feel a bit bad for laughing at what he's saying, but you
Okay.
know that it's only said in jest. And I'm a nurse, and I've spent a lot of time caring for people. I wouldn't want to see anybody at harm, but it's good to laugh, and we can laugh over serious matters because obviously, if it was actually happening in real life in front of you, you wouldn't laugh. But creating a scenario, a funny scenario about it, yeah, yeah, have a laugh. It's not real. It's just there. We all need to laugh more and
So
not
as a
take life.
nurse, sure. So as a nurse, is caring for somebody kind or nice?
Well, I'm not kind and nice all the time.
Okay. So that's interesting. So when are you not kind as a nurse? That I have a question about.
More and more these days with the pressure. Oh my,
Okay.
I'm not getting into nursing. It depends again. I think people have lost as a society. I think we've lost the fact that we're responsible for ourselves, and a lot of people expect you to wave a magic wand and make them.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think it's
Unrealistic.
the same when if you're watching comedy and somebody gets offended, you can just make the choice to walk out or not listen to it. Why does somebody have to stop just because you don't like it? Just take responsibility.
Personal. Yeah. Personal
You're getting
responsibility.
deep.
So absolutely. So how about the cultural translation of comedy? So how do jokes that work in one country bomb in another?
Well, I mean, obviously, there's cultural differences all around the world, and they all stem from beliefs, don't they? And how you're brought up and what you're supposed to believe in. So, British humor might not fall well, in Germany or somewhere like that. So it's down to the audience, isn't it? Because you could do the same act and you could do it in a church full of, very godly people in a church, and you're doing one act, and then you can go to a nightclub where everybody's half cut and in an environment like that, and you're going to get a very different response, aren't you? So yeah, of course there's cultural differences.
So then how does the silence when your joke doesn't land hurt? Physically, emotionally, morally, or spiritually?
I don't think it would probably hurt you physically. I think it would dent your ego if
Ah,
if because at the end of the day, I'm assuming if you're a performer in comedy, you're doing it because yes, you probably enjoy it and it's great to see people laughing and having fun. But I should imagine there's a quite a margin that you're doing it to feel good about yourself. If you're saying something and people are laughing, of course it's going to feed that ego, isn't it? It's going to make you feel good about yourself. So if it didn't land very well, yeah, a bruised ego. But if you're a professional, I'm assuming you would just have to carry on. I mean, that's the
do
thing.
you?
Like, see, I'm an actor and I do quite a lot of theatre work. And
Mhm.
we can, I've done comedies, and you can do a show for 6 days and the audience will react completely different. So one night you might get everybody laughing out loud at jokes you didn't even think were funny, and then the next night it's complete silence. It doesn't mean to say that people aren't enjoying it, because not everybody laughs externally. Some people laugh internally. So
Mhm.
it's yeah, everybody
So
expresses it differently.
when you say jokes that you didn't think are funny, you didn't write those jokes. Is that correct?
Yeah. Or when you've done it, you might not have necessarily found the comedy in that particular piece of writing, but when you've performed it, some people did. And yeah, you get different reactions. But like I say, I don't necessarily mean that you're not enjoying something just because you're not laughing out loud.
Right. Yeah, I don't laugh out loud. I mean, it's very rare for me to, side split. So, all right, very important. So, is the highest function of comedy to expose injustice or to make people feel less alone while living with it?
Ooh. Is it they probably merge. It's probably a bit of both, really.
Okay. So then when a joke harms someone unintentionally, does
Oh,
love demand accountability or does justice demand defiance?
again, I think you've got to be, the thing is, as a comedian, you're responsible, or a comic, you're responsible for writing your piece and delivering it. you're not responsible for how the audience react to it. So if you're, because you're going to offend somebody at some point, aren't you? Everybody gets offended by something. I can't imagine that you would just do it without offending somebody somewhere along the line. But that person is responsible for their own reactions. So if you're going to get insulted by what somebody, and because these comedians and comics, they're not having a personal attack as you as a person. It's a generalized script, isn't it? So if you're going to get offended by that, then just, that's your responsibility, I think, and walk away if you don't like it. It's not the comedian's responsibility to make sure that you're having a good night, I don't think.
Okay. So when you're on stage performing, you're not potentially empathizing with the audience watching?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of the performing is you want to, you're doing your best performance, that you've got lots of people involved to make it really good. And you're hoping that you're hoping that the title, the advertising and everything is going to attract the right sort of people to come and watch what you're performing. Like a lot, the stand-up comedians, people know what sort of genre and everything they talk. If you're offended by those jokes, you're not going to go and buy a ticket to go and watch them, to sit there for the whole night just going, oh my God, that was awful. That was awful. Oh, I'm really offended by that. You probably wouldn't go. So it's the same with, of course, it's our job to entertain and to perform. And hopefully, you've sold your tickets,
Beady, beady,
people have
beady.
bought those tickets, they're coming to watch you. You hope they're going to have a good time. But if they don't, it's not my responsibility.
So would you
I
say sticking to the script might be your responsibility?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes. If my responsibility is bringing those words to life and creating a character.
All right, very important question, Lisa. Advertising and self-promotion. Who advertises themselves more? The comic, the comedian, or the magician? You know that place where you're not conscious and you're not sleeping either? That's your power bill to the electric company. Right here. I want us to be here with free energy, where the Wardenclyffe Tower meets the Eiffel Tower. But that's not where we are. We are here, where you've got the utility and you've got residential solar. Between these two, we know which one saves you money. This is where we can go in the meantime. But this is where I want us to be now, and this can be done now. So let me deputize you to represent DOSE, Department of Solar Efficiency, and let's get on the podcast and get the message out today. See you soon.
I mean, I wouldn't like to say that there was one in particular. Again, I think that if you're a professional and you're putting on a performance and you believe in yourself and you think that you're good enough to warrant an audience, I think it's up to you to go out and sell yourself and do your advertising. So I should imagine if you're really good and this is what you want to do, and you're hungry for it, I should imagine they're all out there doing it. I don't think there's a separate category.
So, Lisa, what don't you want me to know about you?
Well, there's lots. Where should I start? Right, where should I start? Okay, so I'll admit I'm a avid fan of the reality TV show Big Brother. I absolutely love it. I think it's an amazing experiment. And I think it was in 2001 or 2002, I applied for the UK version and I got through. I got through to the live auditions. And yeah, it was a whole day there and you're playing games and doing stuff like that. And then the last phase, you had to nominate or, write down who you wanted voted out. And I got voted out. I got voted out before I'd even started. Maybe I'm too opinionated.
Did you know that that was going to happen? That there was going to be a vote at the end of
No,
the
no, you
time?
didn't know
Okay,
anything. It was like a private location that you weren't allowed to tell anyone. And you arrived,
got
you
it.
didn't know anything about the day. And I can't remember how many of us were. I think there was about 30. Well, not obviously not everybody voted, but I had the most votes. So and that hurt. That hurt
Yeah, the
my
one guy that voted,
ego.
he chose you. That's the worst one. All right. So how about censorship and offense? So does a comic avoid offense while a comedian courts it to prove a point, like a magician?
Oh, I'm not sure I understand that. Sorry.
Well, do you see a difference? I mean, you were alluding to a comedian. You could be a child as a comedian, and then I'm saying that as an adult, you would start as a comic and evolve back or devolve back into a child as a comedian.
Mhm.
So, does that child want to be a magician?
Again, I think it's really hard for me to say because it's not an area that I've ever wanted to be in. I think some people are just gifted in certain areas and just drawn, and kids are so experimental, aren't they? And they try lots of things out, and then they find something that they're really good at. And I think some people are just naturally good at stuff. And all it would probably take is to receive one of those magic kits for Christmas or your birthday, get an audience, absolutely love it, and then practice, 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 and then yeah, one day.
One day. So then who survives better in the cancel culture environment? The comic, the comedian, the magician, or the mudslinger?
What's a mudslinger?
The guy throwing the tomatoes at the execution?
Oh,
No?
oh, oh, and then
You never seen that? Very Game of Thrones. Sometimes lettuce.
I've never. I have to say that as well. I've never watched Game
Ah,
of.
broccoli smells in the freezer, so we're going to throw that at a guy hanging off the noose.
Sorry, I didn't even. I've missed the beginning of the question. What was it?
Oh, well, who survives better in the cancel culture environment?
The one who performs the best, who misses the
Well,
tomatoes.
that's true. Okay, yeah, dodging the bullets. That's one way to say it. What about the person shooting the bullets?
That would be fun, wouldn't it? If they're not
Pretend
bullets, tomatoes. Tomatoes.
tomatoes, but the tomatoes are at the body hanging off the noose. So is it still fun?
It reminds me of like my childhood. When I was a child, they used to have a show called Crackerjack on a Friday, and that's the sort of thing they used to do for fun. You'd throw stuff, and people would get covered in gunge and slime and tomatoes, and it was fun. So,
You said lattes?
hmm?
Did you say lattes?
No, I said no fun. Tomatoes.
Okay, gotcha.
There's a language barrier going on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay with the noise canceling. So do comics rely more on structure and comedians more on rhythm and emotion?
I think you've definitely got to have rhythm and timing to be a good comedian, absolutely, to draw your audience in. And I think you have to have emotion because I think that in any performance or anything that you're doing in life, if you want to draw people in, you've got to be believable. And to be believable, I think you've got to feel it. So, yes,
So timing and delivery, is it a science or an art?
I think you can learn it. I mean, I'm a strong believer in that if you're passionate about something and you want to learn it and you're prepared to put in the hours and practice, 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 that yeah, you can. But would they be as good as somebody? I think some people just naturally have it. Just some people are just naturally funny. They have that timing and yeah, the rhythm. But yeah, so probably a bit of both. Is it nature
Okay,
nurture? It's that sort of question, isn't it?
absolutely, it is 100%. So when does a comedian cross into being a philosopher or a preacher?
Suppose it depends on the context of what they're talking about. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of comedians are now talking a lot about politics. So I'm assuming that, that's a bit of preaching, isn't it? And I suppose if you're really opinionated and you've got strong opinions, then you're preaching, aren't you? So yeah, I should imagine there's an element of it in most people because we've all got opinions, haven't we?
We do. So then is truth treasure in heaven?
Truth, treasure in heaven.
Mhm.
I'd like to say it was the truth would be wonderful on earth, not just
It
in.
would. Is
uh,
truth treasure on earth?
I think so. Again, it's down to individuals, isn't it? Because that's the thing. We all have different opinions, beliefs, and everything. I think truth is important, yeah, because I believe in, yeah, authenticity. And
So
yeah,
is authenticity and truth the same origin?
is it the same or what? Sorry.
Origin?
I mean, to an extent, yeah, yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So Lisa,
I
you
mean,
ready to
short and
enter the
sweet.
multiverse? Yeah. Are you ready to enter the multiverse?
The multiverse.
Yes.
Oh, how exciting! Yes.
All right. So board game Zoomcast, play versus performance. So you have to choose an avatar. So if comedy were a board game Zoomcast, are you competing as the colorist avatar, adding tone, mood, and shading, or the Foley artist avatar, building punchlines with soundscapes and timing?
I would say the second one because I think that I think comedy revolves. I can't get it right. Revolves around that. But I think there's an element to the first one you said as well. I think that there's a combination of both to
Okay,
make
so you're
it
51% on audio.
on the second one. Yeah.
Okay. So then does comedy work better when it's painted vividly or when it's orchestrated sonically?
Oh, these are tough questions, aren't they? Especially because I'm not a
It's a,
comedian.
is that? Oh,
Uh,
it's a follow-up.
I'll say vividly, but I'm not sure why.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that would be inconsistent with the first question because, but that's okay. You wanted to do both, so there's a balance
I
there.
am inconsistent.
No, no, no. It's considered, you know what? It is considered, it's balanced because the first one was 51% answer B, and the second one was 49% answer A. So they balance
I
out
know,
the
but I think
numbers.
that's the thing. I don't think they're necessarily separate. I think there's an
Right.
element of it all in there, so it makes it very difficult to to choose because I think one without the other probably doesn't work.
That's fair enough. And I would agree with you, especially because there's two of them in a sequence. So timing matters. So,
Yeah.
Lisa, here in the Comedians and Elevators podcast, we have a tradition where the previous guest asks a question for the next guest. And the previous guest was Lisa Tass. And her question for you, Lisa Dade, is if you had to remove one favorite food from your life forever, what would you remove and why?
My favorite food. Well, my favorite food um is a roast dinner. I don't know if I
Is
could remove it though. You see that that question's landed on the wrong person. I love food. I really, really love
well, you're
it.
still going to eat just the favorite one.
And so I yeah yeah, because it'd be better for my health not to eat red meat, and
Hmm.
yeah, I'd lose weight if I didn't.
Really? I disagree with the premise, but okay. If you,
It's a bit, yeah, a nice British roast on a Sunday on in winter. Yeah, my favorite
hmm.
meal ever.
Well, I guess to remove it for weight loss is not the worst reason.
Well,
So we'll
but
go
just
with,
remove it. Yeah,
I don't think it would work because meat is,
uh,
but anyway.
no, I'd remove. I'd say I was removing it, but I'd eat it secretly.
Ah, okay. Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Well, so last question, legacy. Who gets remembered? Will the comics Type 5 survive time, or will the comedian's cultural point of view be more timeless?
Do you mean remembered after passing?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, I think people are remembered for all the wrong reasons, to be honest. Or they can be, a lot of people are remembered for tragedy. A lot of people are remembered because they've done one bad thing in their life. A lot of people are remembered because they've gone off the rails. Um, so yeah, I don't know if people are necessarily remembered for the reasons you said. I think if you made a really good impression as a comedian and you had a really long lifespan, um, then yeah. But most of the time you're remembered because of some sort of tragedy or negative event.
Fair enough. Sounds like, yeah, I'll go with that one. So Lisa, where can everybody find you online?
Oh, so yeah, I'm on Instagram, Lisa Dade 01. I am on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think that's all Lisa Dade actor. On IMDb. So yeah, I'm everywhere.
Everywhere. So Lisa, thank you so much for being my guest, and for everyone, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If you're interested in too much information like in the network state or Mantipus the chicken shit, check out this video. Or is it this one right here? Well, either way. Lizard.